time management, which is an illusion. You can't manage time. Time is already set. What you can manage and what you can't master is your actions within that time. So my name is Sean Bright East. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brand. We do this usually and normally a little bit more laid back and calm down, and it's a relaxed pace. But I realize that everybody who comes here and watches what we do are trying to accomplish a goal, trying to get things done in a short amount of time with the least amount of effort, least amount of resources. And look at what just happened last year. Slowed down time, kind of stopped time for a lot of people. A lot of people started 2020 with a plan and it got shut down, broken, right? There was a gap. There was a gap. Not only was there a gap, but there was a break. There was a break in the time that was allowed for people to get their goals accomplished. Some people had their money cut, like literally, you know how they used to tie up the balloons and make a dog out of the balloons? Ever used to tie up a balloon at the circus? That's kind of what happened. People had ideas and plans like a pipeline, and then it got tied up in different places, tied up in knots. So your whole plan is tied up in knots. What do? How do you continue to fluctuate? How do you continue to get your goals accomplished when you don't have a system? When you don't have a system or a process of setting and accomplishing goals in half of the time. So I always say this, and I was speaking to someone else who was putting together a press release, and I was saying that one of the things that we do with different courses and the way I plan things out and the way I teach clients to plan things out is we get twice the work done in 1/2 of the time with 1/3 of the effort. You can write that down. Twice the work done, twice the results in half of the time with 1/3 of the effort. How does that happen? It didn't even make sense to the person that I was speaking to, and I had to explain the entire torque system. So you can write that down, torque, T-O-R-Q. I was explaining what we were doing, and it was just a basic interview, and they were saying, how do you get the results? How did you get the results that you did? How did you go from crickets to digits in the midst of a pandemic in such a short amount of time? Because the amount of impact as well as the income that we had in the short amount of time that we had it during a crisis was something that they were completely aloof to. And when I began to speak it into existence and tell them how it happened organically, mind you, they couldn't fathom it. They couldn't fathom it. So I had to go into the entire system of torques. Torque is something that I've been using for the past 10 years. And it is effectively how I am able to get 30 years of results in 10, or 3 years of results in 1, or 5 years of results in 1, depending on what speed you're going. So go ahead and write that down. Try to catch whatever you caught. I'm going to slow down for a minute. I'm just going to pause for a moment and take a sip of coffee, because this one here, this is going to be one for the records. I really don't believe I'm giving this away for free. I really don't. But let me say that I'm not, because you're investing your time. So thank you. But this one here will not stay up soon. So if you're seeing this live, if you're outside, you're going to want to come in. If you have the chance to follow along and write this down, you're going to want to do that, because this will not stay up live. This will be taken down immediately. But I want the people that are interested enough or invested enough to get it, to be here, I want you to get it. So this is a gift. Consider this as a gift. All right. Torque, T-O-R-Q. How do you get twice the results in 1/2 of the time with 1/3 of the effort? Let me make sure this is up and right, and we are about to go. This is going to be one that's fast and furious. So just get your hand ready, because we're about to get into this right now. Good morning, all. I don't have time to go to everybody. We will do that when we come back. Let me know if you can see my screen. Tell me in the chat if you can see my screen, please. Good. So this is a time mastery system. This is not time management. This is time mastery. And it's based on outcomes, reason, tactics, and quantum. I'll give you a moment. Outcome, reason, tactics, and quantum. So first, you identify the what. When you want to get something done, when you've got an objective, when you have a goal, the first thing you do is identify the what. That's the outcome. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is the objective that you are trying to accomplish? I want you to think ultimatum, deliverable, and results. What is the goal? What is the ultimate goal? What is the reason we're doing whatever it is that we're going to do? What is the objective? What is it that we want to accomplish? It could be $10 million. It could be your course up. It could be your offer up. It could be clarity, finding out who you really are, the value that you deliver, how to differentiate yourself from everybody else. You don't sound the same, look the same, charge the same, and fail the same. What is the objective? What is the outcome? That is first. This is a process. This is a system. This is when you want to get something done. So first, objective. Identify the objective or identify the what. Then what is the reason? So what is the why? What is the why? Tie this to your value system. Tie this to your value system. Try to bring in the who. So we've got the what. Now we're asking the question, what is the why? I want you to tie the why to the who. So who are you doing this for? And why is it a non-negotiable? Why must it happen? Crucial words. Terminology is crucial. So I'm not asking why should this happen? Why could this happen? Why would this happen if I had enough money? Oh, if I had enough money, if I had enough time, if it was the perfect situation, none of that exists. In real life, if you're really trying to get things done and you really got a goal, there is no iffy, maybe, shouldy, couldy words taking place. This is a must. And if it's not a must, you will never get it done. You will never get it done. I don't care how much money you have, how much time you have. I don't care if time stops. If it's not a must for you, it won't happen. Losing weight, graduating, finally staying on the wagon, keeping your marriage afloat, getting your brand right, business right, money right, health right. It won't work if it's not a must. So who do you love? Ask yourself, who do I love enough to do whatever it takes? Because it takes what it takes. And if you look at this any other way, then that's compromise. If you don't look at this the right way, there is a guarantee that it will not happen. You have to get this the absolute right way. So let me go down for a moment and look at these contents. Okay. Does everybody understand where we're at right now? Why you have to tie this to who you love and what that looks like? Put it in the chat if everybody's following this. This is not hopeful. This is not something that you hope for or you wish for or want for. You have to have singularity of concept, singularity of mind. All right, good. And that's why you tie it to, this is why you tie it to the who. Your outcomes and objectives are much more powerful when we tie them to the who's in our lives. Your stakeholders, your spouses, your children, the people that you do it for. Some people, you know, we have parents, we have children, we have wives, we have husbands. These are the people that we do it for. It is lonely in the life of an entrepreneur. That's perfectly fine. It's supposed to be that way. We're not supposed to be handheld or rocked to sleep. We rock babies to sleep. Babies don't rock us to sleep. When we put them to sleep, we can finally get to work. It's non-negotiable. People say, well, I'm going to wait until my children grow up. Good luck with that. Oh, I'm going to concentrate on what they're doing right now. And I'm going to wait. Well, I'm taking care of my mother right now. And when all of that is, good luck. That'll never happen. You're by yourself. It won't happen. You're singing a song. It's like violins. It's like violins. It'll never work that way. So you have to tie the reason that you're doing what it is that you're doing to who you love. And this makes sure what real and tangible, because every day you see them. Every day you see them. And if you're not doing your job, then you can't look at them. It's hard to look at the people you love if you're not really doing your job. If you're half cheeking it, like if you're not real with it, like if you're not investing everything that you have. If you're sitting on money in the bank account, but you know you've got things you have to do and you've got people who are depending on you, that money in the bank account should make you feel sick. It really should. And when you look at those people, it's like, okay, why am I cheating? Because you're not only cheating you and the customer or the client, you're also cheating the loved one. You're cheating them out of a legacy. You're cheating them out of a possibility. You're cheating them out of a potential reality. Does everybody get that? Put it in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. This is obligatory. This is what makes it like a passion, purpose-oriented situation where you don't have an out. Because if you have an out, when the going gets tough, when the market shifts, when pandemic happens, you will take the back door and you'll go lay down and take a breather. And when you wake up, you'll be light years behind. Okay. So we've got the what. We've got the why. Okay, here's more motivation for you. This is exactly what you should be thinking about. So here you have family. You have family, stakeholders, man, woman, and child. Here you have multi-generations. Some people have multi-generations in the home and they still don't feel the impulse, the must. They believe in something spooky, like if I just wait, then it'll come. If I just hope, then it'll come. If I'm just a good person. Not quite. Not quite, right? The marriage, what did we say? What was the vow? And if you're not married, what is the vow that you make to yourself so that you can attract the perfect mate? The mate that can believe in you and have faith in you because you can show the work. Because the things that you set your mind on are not maybes, not shoulds, not coulds, not maybe when pandemic is over, but a must. How can they trust? You can't trust anything but a must. And you can write that down. See, it's a must. This is a must for me, right? And I trust that it's a must for my wife to make sure that it's right. Because if it's not right, then I'm not right. If the home isn't right, then I'm not right. So what in your life, if you don't make it right, is not going to be in existence. No one else is coming to save you. No one else is going to build your business. No one else is going to build your brand. No one's going to give you the loan or the exact money that you need. And if you have the exact money, you will not have the exact time. This is how you defy odds. This is how you bend reality. What is your motivation? Why does it compel you? What in your life is compelling you? Who in your life is a non-negotiable? See, we love people in different levels. So some people might be a negotiable, like, all right, well, I just met him. It's okay. But Mama Duke, like Mama Love, got to get it. She got to get it. There's no negotiable there. She worked 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years to get you where you're at. And now you're shortcoming, you're short stepping. That's a non-negotiable. It doesn't make sense. And if you are doing that, then it's hard for you to look at that person. How can you look at that person in the face and not be tired because you're giving everything? Not be fatigued because you're thinking and working as hard as possible. Because if you sleep 9 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours, that's compromise. That's compromise. What people say is normal is compromise. So if you're eating 3, 4, 5 times a day, that's compromise, because it takes time to do that. Time away from your trust, time away from your business, time away from your must. If you're sleeping 8 hours, that's time away from your must. How can someone trust if it's not a must for you? How can you trust yourself? I'm going to get better. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm getting a little bit older, getting a little bit up in age. I'm going to make sure I don't go up in weight. If it's not a must for you, you can't trust that. It's a maybe, which is basically a never. If it's a maybe, it's a never. Write that down. That's psychology. If there's an opportunity for you to lay down and compromise, you will. So we've got outcome and reasons. We're about halfway into it. Everybody go ahead, take a sip of coffee. We're about to get into the rest of this. This may be the most important part. This may be the most important part because people have all of the stakeholders. They have Mama Love, they got Mama Duke, they got the babies, they got the wife, the kids, they got the husband, they got the house. They got all of that. They know what they want to do. They got the business, they got the brand. They got the business that they think is a brand. They've got the reason, the education. You got the insight, you got the experience. You know what you need to do. You know you got the book written inside of you, but you can't get it out of your hand. Like, you've got the business, you've got the objective, you're in the course, you're in the college, you're taking the degree. So you know what the outcome is. And you know why you should do it. And you know who's waiting on you to come back home with it in tow. But what don't you have? This is where you fail. You don't identify the how. What specific actions are you going to take to achieve your objective of goal? What is the objective of the goal? What is the goal? And then what concrete steps? I want you to think system, technique, and strategy. This is where you fail. You're hopeful and wantful and prayerful, but you're not careful enough to make a plan. You're not careful enough to devise a technique, devise a tactic. So I need you to identify the how from now on. Not just the what. I asked somebody how they doing. Oh, I'm fine. I asked them what they're doing. Oh, I'm building my business. Okay, what are you doing exactly? Well, I'm posting. Good luck with that. I'm posting every day. Violins. When you ask them where their money is, when you say, let's do something together, when you say, let's do some community, some monetary collaboration, it's like, I don't have it. Okay, but you've got this and you've got them. Why don't you have this part? Because you're not really doing what needs to be done. You're hopeful and wantful, prayerful, but not careful enough to devise a tactic, enough to devise a technique. This is the work part, guys. This is where people fail, because before you get the tactic or the technique, many times you have to invest to learn the tactic or the technique. In order for me to know how to put this presentation together, I had to invest in my knowledge and my technological proficiency, or I wouldn't be able to do it. That's simple. It's simple, isn't it? There had to be an investment made, time and money, not just time. Well, I've got all the time in the world, but I don't have any time. Well, maybe when I get more time off from my job, I'll have enough time. There's no such thing as enough time. There's enough reason. There's enough must. And anyone on this call that doesn't have enough musts, when you have a mother, a father, children probably, and a spouse, this might not be the call for you. If you cannot identify a must, then trust me. this may not be the call for you, and you might not want to try to dabble or swim in the tumultuous ocean that is called entrepreneurship. You might be in the wrong water. You might be in the wrong water if you're not looking at this realistic, because there are sharks in this water. There are high waves. There are high tides. There is a pull. There is an undercurrent in this water. So don't sleep. You have to identify the how. What actions are you going to take? And if you don't know the actions, then you invest to learn the actions. What does this look like? It looks like a chart. It looks like data. Plans go many different ways. One of them is to chart. One is data driven. One is statistics driven. You need a plan for your family, for your health, for your income, for your education, and your rest. What is important to you? How are you going to grow? So you might grow the business, but lose the family because all of your time is devoted to the business and the next customer and the next client. And the next this and the next and the next and the next. So you're not taking care of the rest. So what happens? You have a heart attack. Something breaks down. So you got to take the money that you just earned and give it back to the doctor to fix whatever you broke that you wasn't paying attention to because you was neglecting. So think of a car. You're just driving and driving and driving and there's no maintenance taking place. You're just driving and driving and driving and there's no oil being switched. You're just driving and driving and you wonder why the car isn't moving because you forgot to put gas in it. Because you're not tracking. Because you don't have a plan. Because you don't have a strategy and a tactic. You need multiple tactics for the multiple areas of your life that are the most important. This is not time management. This is time mastery. This is life mastery, not management. Education has to be ongoing because every time you exhaust your limit, every time you hit a ceiling, it's going to take you to learn more to overcome that ceiling. That's where your next investment is. When you get a bachelor's degree and you're set at $58,000 a year, you've got to go and get a master's degree to take that 58 to 88, which means you need to invest more time and more money or it won't work. It won't work. I'm going to say this again. It won't work. We live in a very real world and people are living fairy tale lives in a real world and they're trying to apply their fairy tale story that if they're just good people, that everything is going to work. And they bring that into business and they get slaughtered here. No matter what they learn, no matter who they learn from, no matter what studies they went to, no matter what courses they took, no matter who they study under, if they're not realistic, they get shredded. They get shredded. Because people are playing the real game and they're playing to win and they plan it with their family and their heart and on their back and in their chest. So when you come with your good hopes and sweet story, nobody's playing games with you. Nobody's playing games with you and nobody has the same stakeholders and nobody really cares. So you have to be realistic and you have to care about what is most important to you. And you have to have non-negotiables and you have to have musts so that the market can trust. Because if you're not doing what I'm doing and what I'm showing you now consistently, daily, to a high level and learning and progressing and bettering your best with your next, ain't nobody gonna waste no money on you. Ain't nobody gonna waste no money on your little offer. Ain't nobody gonna buy your little book. Ain't nobody gonna take your little course. Ain't nobody gonna click your little link. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I just want you to be realistic and I want to be realistic with you. Like it takes what it takes. And if you don't have a plan, there was a former police officer when I was about 14 years old playing games in school. Playing games, playing games. I'm from Harlem. I'm playing games in school. And the former police officer was a teacher. And he pulled me to the side and he said, Sean, I'm scared for you. I'm tough. I'm a tough kid. I'm 14, think I'm 45 and been through it all. I'm like, what are you talking about? You scared for me? He said, you don't look like you have a plan. You look like you just doing anything. Like you just doing anything. Like it don't make a difference. The wind blow this way, that's the way you're going to go. Like you don't have a root. So anyway, the wind blow, that's where your little leaves going to go. That's where your attention going to go. And I didn't understand it because I didn't have the wisdom. I didn't have the experience. All I had was a bunch of false pride and, arrogance. And he said, listen, he said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I didn't understand that. But he said, if you fail to have a plan, then you do have a plan. And that plan is certain failure. You can guarantee that. He said, I can guarantee you that if you keep going the way you're going to fail. And he was right. And I can guarantee some people in business, when I look at their model and their actions and their investments and their time, I know they're not going to make it because they're living in a fantasy world. They're playing the game on Candyland boards. And this is chess. They're playing the game on a checkers board. And this is chess. And they don't understand what game they're playing. And they're moving slow and they're looking. But there's a clock over here. You move and you click the clock. You move and you hit the clock. They're not hitting the clock. They're losing ground with every move. Oh, let me think about it. The deliberation. Oh, let me think about it. I don't know. I have to get back to you. Let me talk to this one and that one and this one. Just go. Just go. Because you're going to make it harder for yourself. You're going to lose in the long run. Like, don't stretch out the loss. Like, hurry up and take the loss. Like, throw in the white towel and just leave. Don't stretch out the loss because it's going to be worse. You're going to lose and be depressed. You're going to lose and you're going to be mad and have heart disease and hypertension and all of these things. If you're not willing to really give what it takes and risk what it takes, and it's not a must for you, then trust that it is a must for other people. Your competition, it's a must for. The people that you see with the 1 point K responses, it's a must for. The people that you see with the 1 point M responses and the 24K, it's a must for them. That's why they have those things, because they've invested to learn and they've invested their time. And while you're asleep, they'll be awake. They'll be awake working at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, while you're just getting to sleep. What do they call that? The REM? There's no time for that here. Timeline. This is what it looks like. You want to have an outcomes. So take pay attention. You want to have an outcomes, reason, and tactical plan for every day, every week, every month, every quarter, and every single year. That's how you beat the day. That's how you get 5 days work done in one. So you can gain ground on other people that are sleeping while they're walking, right? This is how you beat them, because they don't have a plan. They don't have a strategy. They just showed up. When they show up to work and you be like, how you doing? They're like, I'm here. Good. Good. I know I could beat you when you come like that. When your energy is like, I'm here. I'm just present. Present. Good. Got you. Because I'm gifted and I'm gone. I'm driven because I have a purpose. I'm light years ahead of you. And you'll never catch up because you don't have a plan. You need a plan. You need a strategy. You need a tactic. To do that, you need a reason, and your reason isn't big enough. Your why isn't big enough. You just want money. You just want a car. You just want a big house. It's not about the love for you. Like, you're not thinking about the living, breathing people that are going to eat from the food that you deliver. You're thinking about the nice clothes. You're thinking about the watch. You've been beat. You out of here because you're only thinking about yourself. Your why isn't big enough. So when life comes and gives you coronavirus, it's like, somebody give me a pillow. I got to take a break. There's no rest for the weary. There's no breaks. I have one of the hardest teams in show business. And the reason I say one of is because I know the other teams and I know the other team members and I know what they give. And before you have a team, it has to be you. So before you got 5 people doing, let me say this, before you have 5 people on your team, you got to be doing the work of 5 people. Before you can duplicate yourself, you have to duplicate your effort. Before you can multiply your money, you have to multiply your effort, multiply your investment. People are depositing $500 and wanting to pull out $50,000. It's not realistic. You're watching a movie, and you're watching a movie that somebody else made for you because they don't want you to be successful. So they happy that you singing that sad song. They happy that you living in La La Land, and they're going to let you stay asleep. I'm trying to wake you up. That's what this call is. I'm trying to wake you up 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. If you hear, that means you somewhat serious. That means you have an idea that there's a reason why you here. Now you need to take the next steps. That's what this is. This is a CTA. This is a huge call to action. Stop playing games. Do what it does. Do what it takes. Invest what the cost is. Stop asking for the hood cost or the homie love price. Stop asking for a discount. Because if you get a discount on the investment, you're going to get a discount on the results. So if you try to take 25 off the investment, somebody else is going to take 25% off your results, and then you're going to cry and whine and be like, why my bread short? Your bread short because your attention is short. Your bread short because your investment was short. You got 4 instead of 12 because you put in 3. These are numbers. Numbers don't lie. And if you're lying to yourself, this might not be the call for you. Next sip of coffee. Next 2 sips of coffee. 1, 2. You need a plan for every single day. You need a reason. You need a who. You need a what, and you need a how for every single day, every single week, every single month, every single quarter, and every single year. When I ask people, do you have a yearly plan? They're like, oh yeah, I got my goal set for the year. Okay, what's your goal set for the next quarter? They're like, not there yet. Okay, what's your plan for today? Oh, I'm just going to work. I'm maintaining. Or I'm just going to post. It's not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. Let me tell you something. Planners pray too. I'm just going to keep it 100. Planners pray too. So your prayer alone, it's not a strategy. Because planners pray too. So who gets heard? The one who stays in prayer or the one who stays in both? The one who has a prayer and a strategy and working at the same time? Or the one who's always doing this, always got something to say, always running this, but don't never have no show. Never can point to their works. You know, they can't point to your work, point to your work. Show me what you've done. And don't tell me what you've done. Only show me what you've done to show me what you're about to do. I did this. You are only as good as your last representation. Brother, you're only as good. Think about children. Don't think about the last thing that you gave them. They're thinking about the next thing that's coming. The landlord doesn't say thank you for last month's rent. He's there for this month. The phone bill doesn't say you've been doing great for 32 months. They want the 33rd. So it's about what you give up every single day, every single week, every month, every quarter, every year. And if you don't have the stamina, then you need to fix something in your how and in your who, because your motivation isn't deep enough. If you're tired, your motivation isn't deep enough. If you think the price is too big, your motivation isn't deep enough. If you're like, this is going to take too long, how long is it? 8 months? You think it's going to be you think it's going to take? People join courses and they say, when do I start making money? That's the wrong mindset. Okay, so when do I start making money? That's up to somebody else other than you. I'm giving you a plan. Outcomes, reasons, and tactics. I have been using this for the past 10 years. This is what has absolutely transformed my life in my relationships, family, health, business, money, all of it. This is it. Torque. Quantum. In physics, Quantum is the minimum amount of any physical entity. The minimum amount of any physical entity, energy, time, money, effort, thought, and people. I promise you, the 5 people I got do 20 people's work, because I'm the one person that does 10 people's work or 5 people's work. Therefore, you attract people like you. If you're really lazy and you want other people to come so you don't have to do anything, the people that you attract are going to be lazy. And you're going to wonder why they're not picking up their phone. And you're going to wonder why there's no work on your social media. You're going to wonder why you got people responding to you and ain't nobody responding to them. That's because they lazy like you. That's because they acting like the leader. They follow the leader. So who is the leader? How can you qualify? How can you quantify yourself as a leader when you don't have results and you don't have anybody following you? That is the definition of a leader. If you're posting and it's crickets and you can't bring anybody to your thing, there's a gap in your leadership. You need to learn leadership. You need someone to come in. You need to be humble. You need to be a good follower before you become a good leader. You need to become a good student before you can become a good teacher. You need to become a good client before you can become a good coach. You need to become a good listener before you can become a good speaker. In physics, a quantum is the minimum amount of energy. Any physical entity, energy, money, time, effort, thought, or people involved in an interaction. The fundamental notion that a physical property can be quantized is referred to as the hypothesis of quantization, the science of less is more, or reduction theory. So when someone comes to me, someone on my team comes to me and says, okay, this is what it's going to take. This is how much it's going to take. This is how long it's going to take. I say, how can we quantize that? How can we shrink that? That can't be possible. I don't care what it is. $15,000 in 90 days. No way. No way. My vocabulary is yesterday. My vocabulary is yesterday. How long is it going to take? You better say yesterday. You better say it's already done, because I don't understand 90 days. I don't understand a month from now. I don't understand 5 weeks from now. I don't understand. Break it down and get it done yesterday. Now, I'm not saying that realistically. Of course, it's going to take some time. What I'm saying is you can collapse time with strategy. You can collapse time with systems. You can collapse time with knowledge and understanding and experience. This is why we have coaches, because coaches have the experience that we don't have. So by working with them, we can cut 10 years of work down into 5. I didn't say down into 2 months. I didn't say down into 2 months or 2 weeks. See, people have unrealistic expectations, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years and they overestimate what they can do in 10 days. They're like, oh, I should be rich by now. I don't know. I've been paying this amount of money for this amount of time. I should have been rich. I don't know what's going on. And you crunchy in the face. You crunchy in the face and you crunchy in the heart too. And that's what stops your blessings, because you're feeling some kind of way. And that's what doesn't allow the blessings to come in, because you crunchy. you crunchy. You got to be open. You got to be smooth. You got to be patient. You got to believe. You got to have faith. You got to have trust. But see, if you don't have a must, then you can't have trust. If your must isn't big enough, then your trust isn't big enough. And every blessing that comes to you, you blocking it. I'm just going to talk from the heart right now. Every blessing that comes to you, you blocking it with your crunchy ways. And you're trying to take Short's style and characteristic. People see that a mile away. People see that a mile away. Oh, they only came for free. Oh, they don't want to invest nothing. Oh, they just came to take. So Eric calls it a to-go plate. You want a to-go plate. You want to come and get the blessings and take the lessons and take them back wherever you came from and share them with the scorpions and the same centipedes that have been stabbing you in the back for the last 15 years. The quantum is how we collapse time. So when somebody comes to you, when you put your own plan together, so let me go back. When you've got your reason, tactics, and your outcome together. Then you quantize it. Then you quantize it. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to do this for you so that you can really like get the visual. I hope everybody's learning something here. I hope I'm not boring anybody. I hope everybody's understanding what's taking place right now. I want to share something different. Okay, can everybody see this? Just put it in the chat if you can see the whiteboard now. Good. This is what your plan should look like. Pardon my lines. I told you, I said, I don't even believe I'm giving this for free, but I want you to get it. I really want you to get it because my must is big enough. My trust is big enough. My love is big enough. My sincerity is big enough. Right? So this is what it looks like. You put that in first. What is your outcome? Design your stuff like this right now. Take out a piece of paper, put 3 lines down it. 1, 2, 3. This is how I plan my day, my week, my month, my quarter, and my year. This is how I have been planning my day, my week, my month, I break hours down like this. Outcome. Reason. What is the reason? Why does it matter? Who is it going to affect? And then you write the tactic. You do it just like this. Don't try to be a brainchild and say, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to do it like this. It really doesn't work when you don't put 1 + 1, which equals 2. If you try to say 1 + 3 equals 2, it's fallacy. This is how it works. Outcome first. Then the reason. Because after the reason, it's strong enough for you. After the reason, after you put down your children's name, ooh, the tactic comes. The non-negotiable tactic. You understand? What do you want done? This is as far as people go. They just say, I want to make money. I want to make so much more money. I want to get out of my job. I want to be free. I want freedom. You don't even know what freedom is, what it tastes like, what it looks like, what it smells like, what it resembles and what it takes. You have no clue. So for years, you've been saying, I want to be free. And you've always had the freedom to do what it takes, but you never did what it took because you never had the confidence or the competence to look. Just look. Look at the reason why. Look at the reasons. You got reasons all around you. If coronavirus did not give you enough reasons, then there's probably nothing more I can do for you. There's probably nothing we can do. We will probably never work together. If you're here and you're listening, then there's a possibility that something, oh man, it's not a game. I got to find out how to get on this internet and make some money because there's a chance that they'll shut the streets down. How are we going to eat? That's a good place to be. Now you open to learn the tactic, right? And the way this looks, let me see, I don't even know what this, okay, so this is what you want to do. Boom, boom. Top 3. What are the top 3 things you need to get done? What are the top 3 reasons? Right? And you could put freedom here. You could put the who here. Put tie the reason to the who is affected by it. If no one's affected by it, then it's not strong enough for you. And when you get over here, you're not going to put enough critical thought to it. You're going to put things down over here that you know you're not going to do. That's like, what do they call the New Year's resolutions? All that hopeful stuff that people do that never works out past 20 days, let alone 90, let alone 45, right? And this is the critical part. This is the critical part. This is where the hack comes. After you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you come over here and then you ask yourself, how can I quantize it? And you think critically about how you can collapse the time that it normally takes a person 90 days to do something into 30. If an associate, if a master's degree takes 6 years, how can you get it in 3.5? Who would you have to be? Who would you have to become? Who would you have to go inside yourself and find and pull out in order for you to do 6 years work in 3? What relationships would you need? Who would you need to meet? Who would you need to talk to? Who would you need to pay to buy back time? Because in this space, time and life are equivalent. You're looking at, people say time is money. No. You got the wrong values. Time is life. And if coronavirus hasn't taught you that, then you must not have lost anybody. But hey, I really don't know what to say to you. I really don't know what to say to you. If to you, time is money, because to me, time is life. And I'm trying to save time so I can save life and spend my life doing what I love to do and want to do with those who I love and who loves me the most. And if that's not why you're here, if you're here because you want a Bentley, let me hear that sound when you leave the call. If you're here because you want a 10-bathroom mansion, our morals, values, and principles don't align. We're not going to be a good fit. But if you want to spend time with the people you love, if you want your children to see you free so they could be inspired by your freedom and say, ooh, everybody else, parents go to work. My parents able to work from home. What is it that they do? I'm inspired to be an entrepreneur. I want to learn more about this life. I don't want to use my phone just to play games and go to YouTube and find out who dating and who got shot and what Trump doing, what the politics are, what the color is, what people are doing now in this season. Like, where can we go? Where are the bars at now during coronavirus so I can get real close to people and drink and be stupid? Come on. Just think. Just think. I digress. I digress. I hope everybody wrote this down. Did everybody write this down? Put it in the chat if you wrote this down. This is it. This is it. This is what I did. This is what I did. This is how I went from crickets to digits in the midst of a pandemic. This is how I did in 90 days what people have never done with no matter what their budget is. It doesn't make a difference what your budget is. It really doesn't make a difference because I did it organically, which should tell you that it doesn't make a difference what your budget is. There are people with budgets that aren't getting results because they don't have the right psychology and then they don't have the right strategy. So it doesn't take the budget. It takes you being the person you need to be that attracts the budget and then implements the plan and then comes up with the strategy and walks it out no matter how hard it gets. Because you tie it to the people that you love. If your heart isn't big enough, your wallet never will be. It's 1 hour strong. Tied it into an hour. That was my goal. That was my goal, to make it an hour succinct, and I did that. So for the next 15, if anybody has a comment, question, observation, suggestion, and opinion, we'll take that now. If anybody disagrees with me, that's fine too. This is an open forum. Please speak freely. Yeah, it must be hard. That must have been hard. People calling my phone. It must have been crazy. That must have been a hard one. People calling my phone. It must have been like, yo, what did you say? What did you say? What are you doing? I don't know what I said. My bad. If you, my bad. You watch right now. My bad. I ain't mean that. Let me retract. I touched some people today. I hope so. I hope I moved some people today. I hope I moved you from inertia to get up off of your comfortable seat and get out there in these get out here in these uncomfortable internet streets.
I want to say thank you again. I think for me, the biggest takeaway was what you said at the very beginning of the call. It's not, we can't manage time. And I think I remember hearing somebody say that once before. It's managing the work. It's managing the work that we're given within the time that we all give, because everybody has 24 hours. It's what we do with the 24 hours that makes the difference. You know, and great people, every great person has it. What makes them different from us is knowing what we do with the 24 hours that we're given. So I like how you said it's not time management, but it's time mastery.
Exactly.
So that's something that really helped me to, as I go through this journey this year, to renew my mind, to focus on it with that in mind instead of managing something I can't really control.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And don't forget that time mastery is life mastery. This is how you create your ideal life. This is how it's done. Time mastery is life mastery. But go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that you grasp that part.
Yeah. Well, that was it.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Feedback? Thoughts, ideas, how you're going to implement this? When I tell you it works, you have no clue.
Hey, Sean. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Imani. Good morning.
Good morning. This has been really, really eye-opening for me. I have been a person that has struggled with time management, if you want to say, for most of my life. I kind of go by, when I feel like it, when it moves me to, and that strategy definitely doesn't work. And what I wanted to ask, as far as putting down your outcomes, your reasons, tactics, and then quantizing it, if that's possible. I know the reason, your why, is always the most important as to keep you moving forward. What if you don't have a big enough reason or why? What if you don't have the people in your life to say, I'm doing this for them? What would you say that I could look to make it a greater reason, more than myself?
Of course. Who do you want to touch, Imani? Who do you want to touch? It doesn't have to be children. It doesn't have to be parents. Who do you want to touch? Who ultimately, why did you begin your business? Why did you start?
Honestly, because it changed my life.
Okay, what changed your life?
The practice that I do.
Which is
Kundalini yoga.
Okay, now whose life are you trying to impart that gift? Who are you trying to give that gift to?
Whoever has been feeling like their life is not working.
Who is that in your mind? In your mind, when you close your eyes and you think of that avatar, what picture comes to your mind? What do they look like?
People who have been really hurt in love and self-esteem.
There we go. Hurt by love, or hurt from love and self-esteem. People like who? More specific, narrow it down. So we got the big bucket. Now we narrowed it down. Now we got the love and the self-esteem. People like who?
I can only pull from my own experience.
Okay. So people like you, right?
Yeah.
Now the question is, do you love the people like you enough to stay moving? It comes down to self-love. See, we have to love ourselves before we can love anyone else. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
We have to. We have to love ourselves enough to get up in the morning. My wife had to love herself enough to get up to make me the coffee. So we have to love ourselves enough. So who do you work for? Who do you do it for when you're studying and you're giving? Who do you love enough? And if it's your students, or if it's the little girl or the young woman who's like you were, vulnerable, unframed, in that condition, doesn't know what to do, if that's her, if that's who you're saving, if that's who you've been sent to save, then give her a name, give her a face, and make sure that every time you sit down, like keep her picture in your pocket, like a Rubik's Cube. So every time you sit down, it hurts and you got to get back up. Because when you sit down and you go to sleep, you're sleeping on her. You're sitting on her, you're laying on her, and you're not working for her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And ultimately it comes down to you again, because this is a reflection of you. So if you don't drive you enough, if you don't love yourself enough, remember, we got to do it for us too. I got to be who I am for me before I could wake up in the right mindset for my wife, my children. I got to be right. Does that make sense? We have to be right first.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you do it for you when you begin, it starts with us and it grows out. It starts with us and it grows out. We change our condition and then we change the people's condition. But if our condition remains unchanged, then you won't be the example for anybody. It starts with you, and you have to love yourself enough. So sometimes, and this is why we went through the psychological precepts that we did, breaking down the origin brand story and branded like a leader, so you could find the you that's important enough to you, for you to show up as you and who you have to be. There's no middle ground on this. This starts with you. It starts with self-discovery. It starts with pulling back the onion layers and getting to the core identity of who you are and accepting your flaws, accepting your virtues, accepting your gifts, and embracing that. Whatever it is that you went through that allows a person to lay down and say, well, I got this, but I'm not going to invest this as far as time or money or mindset or mind space, energy. When a person says, well, I want to get this done, but I'm not going to do it until then, that's a gap. There's a problem. Because it has to be non-negotiable or it doesn't exist and it'll never happen. There'll always be those gaps and there'll always be that ceiling that you come up against that makes you recede back into the closet and back into the corner for another 4 years until you peek your head out to take another course. And I'm not coming at you. I'm coming for you in a good way. You understand? Like, I'm really coming for you in a good way. I want you to get this and I want you to understand it, because until you understand it, nobody else will. And that's why our messaging is off. That's why your messaging is off, because you don't really get you yet. And you got to get you to get to the money. You got to get through whatever you got to get to so you can get through to other people. You still have a little bit, and we're always doing this. We're always doing this. So before people say, oh, she's stuck, she's not where she's supposed to be, as soon as you hit a ceiling in your income, as soon as you hit a ceiling in your client base, as soon as you hit a ceiling in your energy level, you have to recreate yourself and find a deeper why, to become a bigger you, to do better work, to affect more people. You got to find new people to touch. So you got to find new reasons inside. Does that make sense, Imani?
Yes, it does.
So we, maybe on a different call, we can go deeper into whatever it was. You understand? because I already know who it is. That's why you here. I already know who it is. I know who it is, but you got to accept that person and be willing to put that person up and raise that person up so you can raise other people up. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Anyone else?
Sean, can I
Suggestions?
quickly piggyback on
Just-
that?
Huh?
Can I quickly piggyback on that? What you just said. So Imani, I literally had that, excuse me, that moment with Sean on my last session, Tuesday, where I had never been moved, excuse me, to tears on any of our sessions, but because he helped me to find the thing that I refused to face when we first started the stories, our brand stories, the process. And it made literally my message 100% clear. And it connects to the other things that I was trying to say. And now it's like, okay, it's time to really get going now, because I went through that self-discovery part. I had that breakthrough, if you will. And it really gave me more clarity than I thought I'd been having along the way throughout the entire time. So
Very good.
yeah.
Very good. Thank you for that. Schedule a call with me. That's what you do. As per Latrell, hit my scheduler, okay? Get on a call with me. It's about that time. It's about that time. All right. Anybody else? Observation, suggestion, opinion, revelation, implementation. How you're going to take this information and implement it in your business and in your life.
Well, for me, Sean, this whole session just made me hit the reset button.
Good.
To basically just say, because what I do, I spend a lot of time doing a little bit of a lot of things instead of finishing one thing. So it's motivated me to go back to the drawing board, use the elements that you've given me, to have it on paper.
Yes, ma'am.
And to just stick with one thing and finish it.
That's it. That's the key.
So I'm thankful for the session for that reason, because the light bulb went off of you over here. You trying to do this, you trying to do that, you jump into this, you jump into that, and I never get anything complete. So for me, that's where I am. I'm just gonna hit the reset button. I'm gonna put in an order of importance of what I need to do, and I'm gonna start from square one all the way down till I get it all accomplished.
Very good. Very good. Start with 1, max at 3. I would say start with 1, max at 3. And when you get done with the third one, then you could set another 3 in orders of importance, like you just said.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's how you concentrate your energy. There's a lot of people that are suffering from the disease of busyness.
Yeah, that would be
me. They need to be cured. The cure is productivity.
Right. Exactly.
It's 2 different things.
Exactly. Okay.
You know, Sean, one of the things that you said that stood out for me is, who are we being? Who are we being and what we're trying to create?
That's right.
Creating. Let me just put it in a more concrete term. Who are we being when we are creating our brand, our product, or even getting our clientele? Like, if I'm wimpy and I'm scared and I'm unconfident, and I'm not coming across as a leader, and I'm ambivalent and I'm wavering, they see that and they feel that too. So there's something that I have to work through to show up differently. Even though I'm afraid, I still got to show up differently.
That's
Even
right.
if I got to act as if for 5 minutes.
That's right.
I still got to show up differently if I want to attract what it is that I'm creating.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Do it scared. Do it afraid. It's all right. It's all right. Thank you for that. That was powerful feedback. Powerful feedback for everybody to reflect on. You always have to show up as who you are, truly at the core. And that's why the pulling back of the layers is so important. So thank you for that. Next comment. Next voice.
Yeah, for me, Sean, of course, it was powerful, man. I mean, this was incredible. I see why you didn't want to give it away for free.
But you see why I had to at the same time, right?
Yeah, man. It's like a secret weapon. And for me, what hit home was when you said, you do not think about the people that's going to eat based on the food that you're going to feed them. Because there's so much that we have inside of us, but we don't realize how many people are starving for what we have.
Right.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
so we really don't understand the importance of actually getting it out there and working through our own insecurities and our own fears by putting those that were going to help before us, man. So that was powerful for me. And I got to get on your schedule for that one-on-one and get a little deeper, but awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great job. Great job.
All right. All right.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Mr. McKeever or McIver, how you doing, sir?
Makiva, correct.
All right. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to hear you. Good to be a part of this.
Thank you, sir.
For the last few minutes, I was striving to get my voice heard. You know, I don't know if you remember, I said one of my difficulties was the social media and the marketing. I couldn't even get my mic to get right. I couldn't get the Zoom right.
Okay.
You know, it's frustrating, but I love the hurdle. I love the challenge. You know, this is all new to me. I've been so comfortable in the dark, you know. I touch money in the dark. I've done things in the dark, and it's like I've been struck by invisible lightning, you know. So the challenges that lie ahead for me to better myself is I'm so looking forward to the challenge, to the growth, you know. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I loan money to businesses. Okay. I got the sexiest product on the planet, man. It's money. But how to market on social media that's a hurdle for me, which I'm looking forward to jumping and conquering that, because I know that is new. I mean, when I got in this space, I knew absolutely nothing, man. And underneath this finance umbrella, there's so much that I have to learn to be able to eloquently speak about to potential clients, you know, which is to anybody that wants to start up a business. So I know for me, to learn, equipment program, there's so much. Yeah. And what touched me specifically from you the other day or last week, I think it was, for so long, I've been, you know, people that I know are in business, they've been telling me about branding.
Yes, sir.
It was over my head, man. That was over my head. But in the conversation, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm getting it. And then, you know, it's back to zero. But when I heard you, man, when you said you the brand, I was like, I told my wife, I said, holy smokes. This dude online just told me what I already knew, man. I'm half a two, bro. I'm the one, man.
That's unique. Right. You are.
That's right. And when you said that, I said, holy smokes, man. That's me. It reminded me of Jay-Z when he said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man.
That's right. Get it right, brother.
So whatever challenges lie ahead, but now I will say this, and I apologize for talking long.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, brother.
People always said just the other day, you know, it's about the kids now. You know, it's about the kids, you know. Even though we might be on the same line, but with me, it's always been, I have always said, I said, look, bro, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I said, but I'm half a two. I'm the one. The better position that I put myself in, the more I can do for whomever I say I care for.
That's right.
So it's about me.
That's right. That's right.
Like I don't mean that in a negative way to the children, because I got children. I got a wife.
But you got to be able to put the food on the table.
Exactly, man. And
so it's you first.
Right.
They might eat first.
Yes.
But you feed first.
Right. And
you understand?
Yeah. True indeed.
Yeah, you got to be the person to feed the person.
Yes, sir. So I'm on your heels.
Come on, brother. Come on. Jump on my back, brother. We gonna ride this thing in. Don't stay on the heels. Check it out, brother. Don't stay on my heels. Come right next to me.
That's right.
So we could run this race together. That's what it's about.
True indeed. And I'm not afraid to follow. So I'm so looking forward for the jewels that come from you, man, because you know it's the words that become flesh.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, I digress.
Yeah, I love your spirit, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you more than a lot, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anyone else? It's 9:17. I'm looking for a hard close at 9:30. So we got about 13 more.
Can I just say one thing really quick?
Yes, please do, Coach.
I just want to give a round of applause to Genta because she went live last night and I'm super proud of her.
There we go. There we go. Congratulations, Genta.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Where you at? Where you at? That's why you got your screen up.
Right
Long
now.
night.
Let me see you.
Not ready for the screen. Not ready for the screen.
Okay. Now check it out. She got a camera. She got to keep a, she got a public watching. So she got to make sure she presents correctly. So we understand that. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank
Yeah,
Thank
her adoring audience. Yes, ma'am.
That's right. That's right.
And I want to
Thank
thank you, Imani, for having enough vulnerability to come up through that and to say that, to show up in your authenticity, because that's where people don't get help. When they stay stuck in a gap that they know exists and they don't address it, that's how an ailment becomes a disease.
Festers.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it goes from they go from being 35 with the problem to being 45 with the problem. Anybody else?
Sean, I feel like you called me out.
Okay, come through. Come through, Yannick.
I feel like you called me out, so I have to speak.
Okay.
And show my vulnerability, because that is a problem that I have with being vulnerable on camera to others. But this whole, it hit me when you said, and I've been in tears this whole life. It's been very powerful to me. It's crazy, like something as small, well, not as small, as big as managing your time or mastering time. The topic of this has moved me to tears when I realized that I don't really have anybody that I'm doing this for. I'm doing it for myself. Like I just got a message from my mom yesterday telling me that she's now in, she's moved on. She's working overseas, and she's put her best friend on as next of kin because she doesn't have anybody.
Okay.
So that's why all of this brought a lot to me. It's like I don't have anybody that I'm doing this for. I'm a single woman. So I gotta dig deep and reach, like, what is my why? Because it's like, am I enough?
You are enough, Yannick. You are more than enough. And we do it for the people that are in absentia to our lives. You understand? So if your mother feels some kind of way for whatever reason, I don't know what the relationship is, but if your mother feels some kind of way, you can still do it vicariously for her, even though she's not there to receive it or recognize it. You understand?
Yeah.
I do it for millions of people that I don't even know. I do it for the person in the hood who looked like me and wonder if they could do it. I don't know them per se, but maybe one day they'll come across alive and see somebody who looked like them in a white shirt, red tie, who still talk a little hood, and they could be like, ooh, maybe I could be good. You understand? Like, ooh, maybe I could do that. And maybe I could, like what Mr. McKeever just said, making money in dark places. Maybe I ain't got to do that. Maybe I could wear a white shirt where people notice me and speak amongst my people and be comfortable and make a little bit of coin. Maybe I could do that too. Maybe I don't have to be in dark places all the time. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not to talk about me, just to give you an example that you do it for people you haven't even met yet, that you haven't even touched yet, for the people that are dying to see you and dying to be touched by you and your testimony. Because think about this. Think about how many young women have a bad relationship with their mothers.
Yeah.
Who have been partially or completely disowned by their parents and they feel like they don't have anybody. When you accept that you good enough, that your better is best, right? Imagine when you show up like your better is best and you stand on your own and you don't need anybody. You see, a lot of us don't have parents. Our parents have passed on. And some people don't have kids. They do it for other kids. Some people can't have children and they do it for their nephews and their nieces. Let me tell you one thing that I know for true, because the wisest man I've ever heard spoke said this: the eyes of the world are always upon you. The eyes of the world are always upon you, sister. So when you feel like you're less than, somebody's watching. You're teaching somebody by your actions every day. You just don't know they're there. And that's where faith comes in. You just have to know. You have to believe first, and then you have to know. Your faith, your belief has to become a conviction, and your knowledge has to become an acknowledgement that you've been worthy. You've been more than enough. And that's why you're still here. And that's why you on this call this morning. That's why you got what you got. And that's why it touched you like it did, because you are vulnerable and you are sensitive and you are human more than enough. There's some people who listen to this that probably jumped off the call. Oh, he talking too loud today. Oh, he punching me in the face. I'm out of here. He don't even be talking like that. He be talking about the brand. Now he talking about time management, time mastery. And as soon as it touch them, they run. You understand? Mm-hmm. You stayed. And you came and you showed up in your authenticity and in your vulnerability. So you in the right place and you are the right person. This is that place where transformation takes place. Right there where you at, that heat, that hot feeling down your back when it's moist, but it's not raining and you feel wet, like you raining on the inside and it's coming out down your, like that's where that's the process. That's what we go through. Intense frustration and transformation. That's what it feels like. I tell people all the time, you're not even in business until you've cried over it. You don't even know what business is until you cried over it. It's not real enough for you yet. It's not tangible. You can't really feel it. Until you feel it, you're faking it.
Yeah, I feel it.
Good.
I definitely feel it. And yes, I know I'm enough, but in my vulnerability, like right now, getting that last night, that message, the last thing before I went to sleep, it was just like, wow, my own mother don't even want me.
That's why we have a community. Let me tell you that. That's why we have a community here. Because it's not just me. It's the other people that you see on this call. When people are talking about booking a call with me, those are clients. Those are people that I work with. And we go deep into a deeper work than just branding. It starts with the brand. And it goes into the business. And then it goes into the business that really is the business that people don't understand, because the gaps in your existing physical business are gaps in the psychology. The gaps in the psychology come from whatever you've been through. Your psychology is what you tell yourself based on what your experiences have been, what other people have told you, and what you've told yourself as a safety mechanism growing up. In this situation that we grow up in, we create stories about ourselves, who we are, why we exist in the way that we exist. And those are compromises, and we consistently make compromises to exist comfortably. Oh, I grew up with no money, I got to do this. Oh, I come from a single parent household, I got to do this. Oh, my parents ain't never make no money, I guess I'm going to be stuck at $45,000 a year. We tell ourselves these stories, or it's the other extreme where it's like, okay, I grew up in this situation. The only way I'm going to make money is in those dark places, or on a basketball court, or with a microphone in my hand. Nothing could be further from the truth. But in order for you to understand the truth, you have to be exposed to the truth, right? Exposure and then immersion. So once you're exposed to the truth, you have to keep it around you. That becomes our iron. Our unity becomes our iron, where we could say, because everybody has those moments. That's when you pick up your phone and you call the right people that are inside the community that feel the same way, been through the same thing, and say, hey, sis, I'm going through, hey, bruh, I'm going through something. See, we do some phenomenal work here. We do some phenomenal work here as a community. So you are not alone unless you choose to be. Isolation starts with self. It's called self-isolation.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And I'm sorry that at this moment, your mother is not able to see the beauty in you. But that doesn't mean that she never will. That doesn't mean that she never will. So continue to show up in your authenticity and keep showing up in your truth and become a better and greater you. And then maybe the world will sing your praises to her, and she'll find out about how great you are.
Yeah.
All right? The problem at hand, the next thing. Remember, the next thing. Just deal with what's in front of you and let everything else. What is it called? It's called the external and the internal and external locus of control. We control that which we can, that which we can't, we leave in those hands. Thank you so much for showing up and being vulnerable and being honest and genuine.
Yeah.
This work is bigger than us. Guys, this work is bigger than us. I wondered in the beginning, when I put it together, I said, oh, this is something else. I said, should I do it? Should I go ahead and do it? And I'm glad I did, because it's bigger than me. Anybody else? I know we're at 9:28, but if anybody else has anything else to say or any questions to ask, that's perfectly fine. I will stick around. This is the work that we do.
Hello, everyone. This is Teresa, and I just wanted to comment back on the young lady who just spoke.
Yes,
I just want to let you know, I have been abandoned, and it felt like I was left for dead. And when I turned 19, I ended up going through the state to adopt my niece. And so in me saying that, as I look back at the times of raising her with what it was that I knew, and becoming a mother before I actually even really became a mother, because when you adopt, you can't get the kids back. You can't be like, you know what, I changed my mind, this ain't for me, come get her. And so what I'm here to say, that if I had someone, even with the big family that I had, everybody had 7 kids. So my aunties and my uncles, they didn't really have the time to coach me through things with her. They didn't really have the time to give me a break and say, hey, let her come over here, take a weekend off. They didn't really have the time to assist me with her. Had I had someone who had been there, who have done that could have coached me, that would have been very useful. But as time went on, I found out about, parenting classes and things of that nature. But I didn't really gain probably as much as I could have that could have helped me as sooner if I would have had someone who really understood what my feelings were and what I was going through. And so with me saying that, you are needed. And you have so much that you have conquered, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have been here among us today. So those times that you went through and those stories and, self-doubt of self-worth and, things of that nature, they can really help pull somebody else up. And so I just really wanted to, encourage you to keep going, because I've been there. I've been there. I've done that. And I overcame. Right now I'm living in a place where I had to literally come and relocate to pull my mother up out of a crack house, like literally. And I never thought that I was strong enough. I never thought that my prayers would be answered. I never thought that, I would be able to do something like that. And that was the work, and it happened, and it's done. Is our relationship still where I would want it to be? No, it's absolutely still just terrible. But at the end of the day, I did what I was called here to do. And I conquered the situation even when I didn't think I had enough strength to do it. And so I just want to let you know that even, you know, there will be times where you feel like you being used. There will be times where you feel like you being stretched. There will be times where you feel like, you know, I don't know if I could do this. But when you do complete the course, you have so much more to offer other people who need exactly what you experienced. And so just keep on going. Don't give up. That void can be, you know, completed in Christ. And so I just want to, you know, really motivate you, because the love that we looking for is not necessarily in people. We need to know and learn how to really love ourselves. Because if we don't, last but not least, those things will show up in every area of our lives. They'll show up in our work. They'll show up in our entrepreneurship, our business. They'll show up in our relationships with friends or men. They'll show up everywhere. And it'll be like you'll be your own enemy. It'll be like you'll be haunting your own self, you know? And so I just want to encourage you to keep going, stay on the course. You know, wake up in the morning, look at yourself, talk to yourself. You know, you're a beautiful woman, and it looked like you have some things that you have established. And so don't stop, don't give up, don't let the enemy try to put you in a pity party to, you know, play with your emotions so you get off focus. Stay on the course, sis.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Teresa. This is the power of community. This is the power of community and the power of powerful conversations. Powerful coaching, powerful conversations that lead from one place to the next and begin to go into areas that the topic may not have been overtly about, but covertly, there's a lot of underground work that we're covering. There's a lot of underground work that we're covering because we're a community that has experienced a lot. And it's hard to just come out and say that on top. So we say what needs to be said on top, and then we do the work that needs to be done under the layers. So thank you so much for that. I love it. When I see it, I know what it is, and I appreciate it. So when you show up and you assist each other and you cover down on each other and you help each other out, that's what this is about. We got to get right so we can get the money right. We got to get right so we can get the business right. We got to get right so we can get that brand right. Like, we ain't gonna get the brand right if we not right. So we got to address who we are, where we come from, and how to fix that and fix the psychology so then we could present to the world our best self and get the best results. So I wanted to say one thing about the schedule and one thing about torque. Don't sleep on the power of it. Don't sleep on the power of it, because that's why we all here. That's why we all here. That's why I hope that this is super, super powerful for everybody. And yes, we will be going into Brand Advantage the second week, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. So if you're so blessed as to be within this community, make sure that you show up for the 7 o'clock. If you're not, if you're outside, if you're watching this on a live and you're like, whoa, what did he just talk about? Reach out, comment below, let us know that you're not a part of what we're talking about, and we'll make you a part and work to make sure that you're a good fit and get you that blessing that you're looking for in your business and in your brand, so that you can stand up and show up as your authentic best self and turn your mindset into monetization, turn your purpose into profit, turn your impact into income, and turn your meaningfulness into money. All right. I'm very proud of you, ladies. I'm very proud of you, gentlemen, that have shown up and spent your time with me and gave me your testimony. Thank you so much for the internal work that it took to get here, because it takes work to get here. It really takes work to get here. I don't know everybody's story on the back end, but I know everybody has a story on the back end. And knowing my experience, I know you have an experience, and I know it's a valid one. I know it's a valid one. So don't let anybody ever try to invalidate you or your worth. But I want you to understand this too, and I'm going to say this and that we'll be done with it. Your network is your net worth. So if you feel down, it's because you're around the wrong people. That's why. If you feel like you're less than or you're not full, full, it's because you're around too many empty people. And you need to come where the light is. You need to come where the light is. And that's where we stay. And when one of us gets dim, we around each other so we can spark each other up. That's what that looks like. All right. So my name is Sean Rais. This has been Breakfast with the Brand. I think it's been a platinum edition of Breakfast with the Brand. Thank you so much for sharing your coffee. I'm not even going to validate tea. Thank you so much for showing up with your coffee with me, Sean Rais. And I'll see you guys next week.